So guys, in my 4 years of being on YouTube, I've reviewed a countless action cameras from the cheapest ones to the top of the line. Usually the cheap action cameras are really bad, but this $20 action camera is a little different. Let's find out why. Well, let's start with a quick unboxing, and before getting started, let's clear this out of the way. This video is not sponsored. I bought this camera from my own money and I happened to land on something that's a pretty good deal. But back to the packaging. The packaging is fairly simple and pretty cheap if I'll be honest. But honestly, what matters to me is the product itself than the packaging. Also, you might notice there's really no information about the action camera right on the box. So looking just at the box, you can't really tell if it can shoot 4K or how many megapixels it is or anything like that. And surprisingly, inside the box there's no user manual or anything with specifications either. But inside the box we got the action camera itself in a waterproof casing just like usual. I'm gonna put this to a side and let's see what else we have in the box. So we got a bunch of bracket, mounts, cleaning cloth, charging cables, battery and everything else on the other side. And while honestly just looking at all these accessories, they're probably worth $20 that we've just spent on this action camera. So the action camera is pretty much free. Whatever we get out of it is gonna be worth something. But I'll tell you for sure, this action camera is a lot better than what you would usually find for $20. Now, as I said before, beside what we just saw, there's not really a user manual or anything which gives us any information about the action camera or even how to use it. Luckily enough, these action cameras are pretty simple to use. So back to the action camera, let's take it out of the waterproof casing. So on the side we have a tab that we can just pull and that will open up the waterproof casing. And inside is the action camera itself. Let's quickly take the plastic off from the front and the back. And here is the action camera itself. Now on the top we got our power button and the mode button. On the right hand side is what seems to be the record button. And on the side we have a up and the down button which we could use to navigate through the menus. Going to the left side, let's open up this tab. And this is where we could connect the action camera to a computer, and this is also where we put in the SD card. So pretty basic stuff, just like the normal action cameras we're used to seeing. And if you open the bottom tab, this is where our battery goes. So let's go ahead, put in the battery I just charged and turn the action camera on. Now scrolling through the menus is pretty straightforward. You just press the power button or the mode button to switch from the 4K video to the 1080p video and taking pictures and going into the settings. In the settings we could change the video resolution, we could change the image size, we could do time lapse, loop recording, and we can turn on and off stabilization, which actually does a pretty decent job. Lens angle, we could also play around with that. We could also set a timer. We could do burst mode. The mic, we can turn that on or off. Exposure, ISO, all of these settings can be changed or tweaked to your preference using the menu settings. So it gives you pretty good control over what you want to shoot. Now I was able to figure out all the specs, and let's quickly get those out of the way and then we will see how this camera actually performs in real life. So it claims to be an 18 megapixel camera which is able to shoot 4K at 30 frames per second. As I said, the display quality is somewhat decent. It does have a true wide angle lens which is able to cover almost 160 to 170 degrees. The only problem I noticed was a little bit distortion on the sides, but that isn't really a big issue. And now rather than me talking about everything, let's actually see how this performs in real life. So here are some sample footages taken from this action camera. So what you're seeing right now is the 4K it has captured, which is downgraded to 1080p for this video. I will also leave the product link for this camera which I bought from Amazon with a pretty heavy discount code. Now what I've noticed is the price would keep changing. It will go from $20 to $50 or even $60 at sometimes, but every once in a month they do drop the price to almost $20 or $22. So you'll get a pretty good deal when you see that price drop. So just make sure you keep your eye out and you can find this action camera for a pretty good deal. So check the link in the description for that, and I will also link some sample footages from this action camera you can download and try out yourself. These would be 4K videos and the original pictures without any edits. So go ahead, download them and see if this camera is any worth for you. Now as I was talking about the built-in stabilization, I personally think it also does a really good job. Talking about the fact that this camera is 4K, now that is something I wouldn't truly agree with. It claims to shoot 4K and the picture quality is pretty decent for $20, but it's not really true 4K. It is more likely shooting 1080p or something a little bit higher and then upscaling that to 4K. The picture quality are also somewhat decent. I wasn't really a huge fan of the pictures in general, but I think this camera does a better job in video. And for $20, I can easily recommend something like this, even as a dash cam. It has a really good wide angle lens, which is great to capture a big scene, and at the same time it has all the waterproof casing and all the accessories you get, which are a bonus. So yeah guys, this is what I think about this $20 action camera. I think it's pretty good for usually what you can find for $20. Let me know what you think about this camera, and if you like this video, let me know with a thumbs up and subscribe to Royal Tech for more videos just like this. If you have any other product you want us to review, make sure you leave them down in the comment section, and as always, thanks for watching.